Guys, so in PR, I got from Pat McGrath 3 of the new Glow Color Balms, and we're gonna try them. Pat McGrath, they have my address. They've sent me PR in the past, but it was never anything new. But you guys know I'm perfectly fine with buying everything that comes out, literally everything. So this came in the mail last night, and I was like, WTF. Yeah, I had taken my nails off because I was not supposed to film today, but we're playing with the new color balms from Pat McGrath. I did a shopper drop on this, and I had some questions, and today we're just going to play with them and answer them. I will still probably be ordering a couple other colors, and then I did not get the eyeshadow palette or the highlighter balm duo, so I'll order these myself. So there will be part 2 to this review where I will tell you how I feel about the blush shades and have some new ones after having played with these, so I can give a thorough review on that, and then I'll also play with these guys. But today we're focusing on the exciting part of the collection, a brand new formula from Pat McGrath. So thank you to Pat McGrath's team for sending this over. But as always, you guys know it doesn't matter. I try my best to give unbiased reviews, PR or not, so honest reviews always. But these are the legendary Glow Color Balms, which we now have a date that they are launching June 1st. So make sure you have my notification bell on because I will notify you guys when these come available, as well as what the 10% off code is. They are going to be $29 each, which I thought was a pretty good price for Pat McGrath. And the description of these in my original shopper drop left me very curious as to what these were going to be like. There's 6 shades in the launch. They were kind enough to send 3 to me. So we are going to test the consistency, the formula, how these do on bare skin without any powder, how they do on powder, all of that. We're just going to play with these, and I'm trying to feel these out. So listen to the description. They are a nourishing burst of radiance to the lips and the cheeks. This must-have balm, and I don't like balms normally, so that's why I was unsure about this formula. It creates a glass skin-like effect. It has a gel-like texture that's buildable for a non-sticky, non-greasy, glow-boosting wash of natural color. It has a glossy finish, radiant reflection with major moisture and lush luminosity, and I've got to be honest with you guys, the description does not match what I prefer in my cream blushes, which is why I was really curious about these. They have a soft buildable color, supposedly, allegedly, lightweight, non-sticky, we'll see about that, and it's supposed to be multifunctional, and it's infused with squalane, passion fruit extract, and shea butter, which are those moisturizing qualities that it talks about. So come on in. We're just gonna get these on the face. I have got to know Investigator Morgan is here. So this is the box that they're all going to come in. It's this beautiful purple packaging. Okay, so here's the tea. 36-month shelf life. That's really long for a cream blush, and made in Italy. Now, a lot of you guys said you were not fans of the packaging, and I said I thought it looked a little cheap. It is a normal amount of product, by the way, 7 grams. But yes, it did look a little cheap to me as well. But for $29, I was like, at least the price is low. And it definitely feels lightweight, like plastic. It's a snap closure. It's not fancy and magnetic. So it doesn't have that luxury feel that I like from Pat McGrath. But hopefully the product inside is good, because this is just... It's a plastic thing. So again, we'll see. This particular shade is Fleuritique. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so Fleuritique is a rich, cool rose. Okay, are we ready? I'm so stoked to swatch this. So I'm just going to do one swipe, and it looks quite sheer. Let's do a few more swipes. And it did build. You can see that glow. Okay. Investigations begin now. Peach Lotus is the next shade. So Peach Lotus looks like this. It's a soft peach coral. This looks really beautiful. Looks really sheer on that first swipe, but after a couple go-overs, I'm thinking this might be really nice on bare skin. Even like without makeup. I'll update you guys on that during the bigger review of this collection after I've had more days to play with this. Sun-Kissed Seduction. Ooh, this was one that I wanted. This is a warm sienna. I didn't think this would work for my skin tone. Okay, that went over a bone. But yeah, this one definitely has more pigment, so it's going to be better for a deeper skin tone. Okay, let's get to applying. We'll start off with the lightest color that they sent through, which was Peach Lotus. Okay, so I will have everything that I'm wearing down below. I have very minimal powder on my skin right now, just a little bit to set the under eyes. The rest is pretty bare. So it doesn't feel sticky. It really doesn't. And it does have a gel-like consistency, but a non-sticky gel-like consistency. Okay, good. I was worried about it feeling too thick and sticky like a lot of gels. It feels really thin, and it definitely leaves that hydrated glow on my finger. I'm going to do it this way first by applying it straight on the skin. I probably wouldn't normally apply this like that anyways. And I'm using a BK Beauty 109 brush, one of my favorites for cream products. And we are blending that out. By the way, I don't even have a powder bronzer on. I'm using the Chanel, the Chanel bronzer. Okay, even when I applied it like that, because sometimes when you apply a stick like that, it can move the product around. It didn't move anything around. Fantastic. I'm going to go in with a finger though, because with a consistency like this, you're doing it a disservice to apply it directly to the skin, though it does feel quite smooth. And it left a sheer color at first, but the color does build up just as they say, and it does warm to the touch of the finger. It doesn't completely like disintegrate into liquid or anything, but it definitely leaves a more liquidy gel-like feel on the fingers. I like applying it with fingers. I think this is the best way to go. And it does have that kind of glassy look that they were talking about. So if you prefer a cream blush that almost has like a soft powder finish to it, kind of a dry down, I don't think that this one is going to have any dry down. It's going to continue with that glass gel texture on the skin, but it does look really nice. I feel like for a gel consistency, which I said is not normally my preference, this does seem to be really well done. And I do think the best way of applying it is with your fingers to warm down the gel consistency. I'll use a brush on the other side of my face directly on the product, but I'm thinking fingers is the best way to go. So let's use Flirtique now. So I'm going to use my 109 brush because doing this might actually dry down the product a little bit more. You know, the hairs of the brush could dry it down so it's not as jelly feeling. Yeah, that definitely applies a thinner layer. I feel like the hair of this almost soaks up the liquidiness, even though it's not super liquidy, but you know what I'm saying. It dries it up a little bit. And then that is how you get less of that juicy, glassy look if you're not feeling that. Okay, great discovery. So if you don't want it to feel too thick or glassy or gel-like, the brush will kind of soak that up a little bit, but definitely leaving behind a natural layer of color. I'm going to go in with my fingers next. This one definitely has a little bit more pigment. Going to build that up. My gosh, this is a good formula. It really, really is. There's some versatility to it, and it's not breaking up anything that I have on underneath. And the color is buildable, just as I said it was, and it does feel hydrating. The feel is not sticky. My skin was kind of feeling a little sticky before because I was using the espresso. So I was using the espresso base and I didn't have any powder on. So my skin was a little sticky, which would have made this a harder experiment for the cream blushes because when you have a sticky base, sometimes the cream blushes can skip or peel or leave the skin patchy. I really don't feel like that happened here because the consistency is so lightweight when warmed up with the fingers. Okay, this is a good gel formula from what I can tell so far. So what I'm going to do next, we're going to play with that warm sienna. I'm going to take just a little bit of my Pat McGrath foundation, which is the foundation that I'm wearing today. And we're going to go over the blush, because remember, I have little to no powder on my skin, really just on the under eyes. I'm going to put some powder on my skin, and we're going to see if that changes anything. Because something that is so gel-like this, it could be a recipe for disaster if there's any powder on. But it could also be not an issue at all, and that's what we're going to test. That's why I'm here today. There was just so many questions that I had about this formula, and it is quite interesting. You know, I wondered how gel-like it was going to be, and it is kind of gel-like if you warm it up with your fingers, but if you don't want it to be as jelly-like, just use a brush. I really like that option and that versatility. So I'm going to use my Pat McGrath Labs setting powder next, and I'm just going to set pretty much my whole face because I feel like I'm a little sweaty right now. Great. Let's see how Sun-Kissed Seduction does, which is the darkest color. So I'm going to use my fingers first. It's definitely a different experience in terms of pressing it into the skin when there's powder underneath. I feel like it's not blending quite as seamless into the skin. I am working it out a little bit more, which I might find more success with a brush if that's the case. And if it looks a little patchy here, it doesn't matter what product I use, it always looks patchy there. It's me, it's not the product. What do we think? I mean, it's still spread out relatively easy. I think it's best on non-powdered skin, I will say. At least I feel like if you directly take a setting powder, don't put it directly on the cheeks first. Like, you can have powder on your face just like I did with setting powder, and you'd be fine probably with a powder bronzer. But I think directly layering powder on my cheek did make application not as nice. Do you see like this right here? It's just not as smooth looking. The brush made it go away though. Okay, so let's see the brush now on this side. I mean, this is a pretty tough test. I don't normally do this with any cream blush with this intense level of powder on the cheeks. I tend to give them a fair chance. But honestly, if you do have more powder on the face, use a brush because this spread the product out a lot more even and quick. Because when I used my fingers on the non-set face, the product blended out kind of itself with no issue into the skin. I feel like when there is powder underneath, there is more drag. So you need something with a larger flat surface to kind of do the work for you in terms of placement, because your finger pads are much smaller than a brush. So if you do have powder, definitely use a brush. And this color works on my skin tone, but I could definitely build it up to be deeper if I wanted. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to take this off one more time. We're going to try one more way. So the last thing I'm testing is fully how I would apply these on an everyday basis, just to make sure it would work in my regular routine. So I took the makeup off of my face so that I had no residual powder. I still have the Chanel Cream Bronzer on. I'm going to use my Pat McGrath Nude Honey, and I'm going to use a more dense brush. That one was a little soft. I'm going to use a brush to pop that on the skin. So I do have normally this minimal powder. A good cream blush should go over this with no issue. And then in terms of setting powder, I'm not going to go directly on the whole cheek because that's not something I would normally do. I was just testing, but I do like to kind of go a little like down here with powder before cream blush. So not directly on the apple, but where I have some pores down here. And we will test these on the lips, by the way. I'm going to go with Peach Lotus today, I think, for my makeup. And I did really like it with the fingers for application, but I think the brush was probably my favorite. But the fingers are working great for applying this, right? For just a quick layer. I don't notice the powder really affecting anything. And since there is a mixture of like a little bit of powder on my face, you can still see it has a very healthy look to it, which is very, very pretty. I don't normally go for a consistency like this as my first choice for cream blush. I like a little bit of set down. This won't set down, but it does look very, very healthy. And I do like this for a different type of look, especially for very minimal makeup days. I think this is going to rest on bare skin quite beautifully. Taking my 109 brush. Gosh, this brush application, I said I love the fingers and preferred the fingers, but this brush application is so fast and easy, much more efficient and quicker even coverage. And because, like I said, I prefer a dry down for a cream blush to have, this kind of helps dry it down just a little bit, because there is definitely a difference, and there really is a buildable color there. Ooh, okay. I mean, I like this. I think it's a nice formula. Let's try it on the lips. I normally don't like a cream blush for the lips. Honestly, not bad. I think I'd probably prefer a darker color. It doesn't look the smoothest or the most even. That's what I find with a lot of cream blushes. But a good amount of that pigment did hold up on the lips, and it doesn't look too crazy. I think in a pinch, this isn't bad. Let me try a darker color. We'll do Flirtique. Honestly, not bad. It kind of has a tinted balm feel, and it doesn't get too liquidy on the lips. You know how I felt like it almost got more gel-like as it warmed up to my fingers? On the lips, it still doesn't get thick. That's really nice, actually, and it just left a tint, like a tinted lip balm would. Okay, that performed way better on the lips than I thought. The only other really good one on the lips is by Rephr Beauty. This doesn't leave as pigmented of a layer on the lips as the Rephr Beauty. The Rephr Beauty literally feels like a full pigment lip gloss. This just feels like one of those tinted lipsticks. Honestly, okay, not bad on the lips either. Surprised by that. Now, in terms of how it feels on my cheek, maybe like the slightest bit sticky, but a good amount of that also has to do with the base that I'm wearing as well. But overall, I think that these are a really, really nice formula. As you saw, they don't defy the normal rules of makeup where you have a heavy layer of powder underneath and you can apply this and it goes over with ease. You saw I had a harder time blending that out. But in terms of like a cream blush, I think these worked out beautifully. They have a beautiful blend out. They have a nice, healthy, hydrating look to the skin, which I think is going to be really popular for the summer. Everything that they claimed here, I would say, is true. So the key benefits and claims are exactly what they said, and I'm even surprised how well it works on the lips. And I think the price is not bad. You're not getting super heavy duty, high quality packaging, but I think for the caliber that MCGRATH is, I think the price point is fair given the plastic packaging, which I feel like they could have easily made these feel more heavy and luxe. But for $29, I'm okay with it. I mean, still the little gold accents are very, very cute. So if you like this kind of more glassy blush feel for cream blushes, I think that these are for you. If you're very, very oily and you like a cream blush that has more of like a cream to powder finish, these are not going to be for you. I'm going to continue wearing these the next few days until the order that I end up making on the rest of this collection comes in, and I will update you on true wear times, testing out in the heat, and letting you know how these go. But so far, first impressions, I'm really, really happy. So thank you to the MCGRATH team for sending these my way to review. And like I said, have that notification bell on because I'll let you know when these launch. All right, bye guys. Have a good one.